Wednesday, June 12th. And if you're watching this video on any day other than Wednesday, June 12th at 7 p.m., just know that it is an upload. And I got something, I don't know what's going on with the lights here today. I can't figure out why it's so dark, but it is what it is. And I don't want to start messing with these features because I don't know what I'm doing. So I just better quit while I'm ahead. And now I can't get this to go away. Okay. But anyway, I don't know why it's so dark. I have the same lights on that I normally always have on, but for some reason it's coming up really, really dark. I'm already hot, guys. I just got out the shower. So let me pull you all up on my phone as well and turn off my notifications. Still dark, but it's not as bad. I don't know what's changed today. So we'll give people a few minutes to get into the chat room. Woo. I don't know why it's so dark. It's not that light. Woo. I'm sitting in the same position, same lights. I even cut those lights off and it still didn't make any difference. So I don't know what's going on today. Woo. See, it is 7 o'clock. And then got the nerve to drink some hot coffee. So we got Robin here from RS Islands Crafts. She says, hi, everyone. Hi, Robin. She said, don't push the buttons, T. Right, I've been on disconnected. Honor Safari's here. She says, hello from Ohio. Phyllis Gardner says, hi, everyone. Maxie Doodle says, pink looks good on you. Thank you so much. At least you can see something in this video since you can't see my face. I have no idea why. And it even looks like it's even cloudy or something. Hold on. I'm trying to see if the camera is dirty. That's not it. Try it one more time. Nope, not really. So I don't know what it is. Christine is here, says hi, T and T Quilters. Melinda Carroll is here, says hello, everyone. Margaret Griffin says she's from Marietta, Ohio. And Dawn Cunningham is here, says hey, T and everyone, good to be here. Michelle Thompson is here, says hello, T and everyone. Claudette Bettis is here. She says, hi, T and everyone, checking in from Anaheim, California. And Tracy Davis says hello to everyone. She's waving. Dewana Montreal says, hello, T and everyone. June Hansen is here, says, hi, Miss T and everyone. Love your quilt. Thank you. She's talking about my crazy quilt that I did a video on last week. And Dewana says, what are we talking about today? Anything you all want to talk about? I don't have a topic. And I'm still trying to figure out why is my screen so dark. I am not that dark. But knowing me, when I probably was doing something else, probably hit a button somewhere. Let's see. So I don't see where I hit the button that makes it darker. So just checking. We got June Billings here. She says, hi, T and everyone. Hi, June. Welcome to the live chat. And also welcome to the Teaquilts Facebook group. She just joined that before we got into the live. What's on my agenda? Basically, I don't have a schedule today. I will just tell you what I've done for as quilt-wise in the last week. And I can't even remember what I did the end of last week. But I do know on Sunday that I made 4 quilt backings for the charity quilts. And I also, on my crazy get a chance, when I get through all the other videos, I've got a part 2 of the crazy quilt block. It's dealing with some more AccuQuilt dies. And then Monday, I quilted 2 quilts. I have one on the frame, well, that's over the frame. So I quilted the this quilt here. Can't see it. This quilt here, the Femme at 5 pattern. That's what that is, and I'll show you a little bit more of it later. I quilted that quilt, and then I also quilted one of Vicky Robles quilts tops. That's what this one is here. I've got 2 more backs here, and I have been just going through things, trying to figure out what it is that I have left from the block drive from last year. So let's talk about that since I brought that up. So I have sheets here, and I've counted up how many blocks are left on these sheets. Whenever I got the leftover blocks, I just put them on sheets like this. And it turns out I have 125 blocks that are in here. And that's enough to do 2 quilts, and then I'll have 29 blocks. So let's just say I got 3 more quilt tops that need to be pieced. So I am just trying to see where I'm at. I'm trying to get as many quilts as I can ready to be donated. I've got the other 4 quilts that we've been talking about for a long time. Those are ready to go. I just need to sew the label on 2 sides. And then I'm trying to now go back and, if I can, do some more before I drop off the 4. So 1, 2 is quilted. So let me show you what's quilted. We've been in St. Louis. We've been trying to make a mad dash to get rid of this Rams fabric since they're no longer here. And so somebody donated that to me. And they also donated this blue one as well. And so I've been making, using these on some of the quilt backs. Just trying to get rid of it. And since it's the back of the quilt, it won't really matter. But on this one, again, I just use random wavy lines. And I like the texture that it pulls up with the polyester back. It's really cool. And so I've sorted all of my polyester back into 2 yard, well, a little bit over 2 yards. I'd say like maybe 76 inches or so. And then I got them all tied up, bundled, ready to go into these charity quilts. And then let me show you the other one. I've got a light sitting on this one, so I'm just going to hold up what I can. But this one I just did loops on. So I know you can't see a whole lot of it, but I just pulled this one off today. I quilted it yesterday, and then today I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't do any more quilting today. I think I'm starting to get like a sore throat. So I figure after this video, I probably will not be talking, and tomorrow I will be in my doctor's office. So, and then the next two quilts, or the next quilts that I got up here to quilt is, of course, the blue one. I thought I was going to put one on the front, one on the back, and I just decided to go ahead and make them a quilt. And the reason why I was going to do that is because of me having to supply the batting and making a backing. And then I also have this one here to quilt, which is the charity quilt from Rose Swall's daughter. I forget her daughter's name right now. And so, but I'm going to have to make another backing for this one because it's a little bit wider. I'm quilting quilts that are 70 by 90, so I made my backings accordingly. And that quilt is like 80 by 84, so it's a little too wide to go onto the backs that I have already pre-made. So I'm going to have to make a back for that. But those are the next two quilts that will be quilted. And I think, oh, I even made 1,200 yards of binding. Look at that. And this is enough binding to do about 3.5 of the quilts. So I'll just find another piece of brown fabric for the fourth quilt, and or whatever quilt. I'm not even sure if they're going on these quilts. I know the yellow one this will look good with because she used brown inside of hers. But if this doesn't look good with the other ones, then I'll just save it for some other charity quilts. But I've got enough binding I made for 3.5 quilts. So I think that's it for me. If I missed anything, let me know. I'm not showing the crazy quilt border yet. Trying to make sure. So that's it for me. Let me see. Let me go back to the comment section. Don says, I was watching Linda's Electric Quilters and they announced Teaquilts won the Dream Big Leaf panel. This was in April. Yes, I did win that. I know I got it over in my panel section, but I don't know exactly if I put it underneath or over something. But I did win the Dream Big Leaf pattern, and I do have a regular Dream Big flowers, I guess they call it. And so at one point I will quilt those, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get real detail like other people get with those. Let's see. Orna says, has anyone tried foundation paper piecing? Yes, I have done video on foundation paper piecing. I even did a video with the New York Beauty block has paper piecing. I also did another like Storm at Sea block, I think it was called. That's paper piece I did for my quilt guild for our raffle quilt, which will be raffled off this September at our quilt show. So I can't think if I've gotten any other paper piecing. Oh, I do have a few paper piecing videos where I was making arrow blocks. I forgot what it's called. So I do have some foundation paper piecing videos on my channel. Don says, have you quilted the leaf panel? I watched it today. Show had April date. Of course not. I was just surprised that I won. I don't normally win drawings. I've been quilting charity quilts and working on charity quilts since my retreat. So, and I was even prepping for when I went on retreats with the charity quilt. So that's what I've been working on. That's my goal, is trying to get as many of those done before the end of this month, and then I probably will let myself go on to quilt something else. So that's what I'm currently working on. So I've got these two, and if I get those two quilted, then I'm kind of caught up on quilting, but then I need to do the bindings by machine. Don says, you are locked up on my end. Just me. I was locked up for a second while I was trying to fix my screen. So hopefully it's okay now, Don. Thanks, June. She's saying congrats on winning. And June is saying, would love to try the Dream Big panel. I could only ruin it, eh? Hey, it's just machine quilting. So even if it's not going to be, if it's not a masterpiece, that's okay. It's something that's usable, and you got to practice some stitching. And that's what it's all about in the end. It's just getting some practice in, and you've got different spaces that you're trying to fill. So it kind of make you think on what you want to do. And I have seen a Dream Big panel where every petal on the flower was quilted the same, and it was okay too. It was a nice looking quilt. Orleans Mitchell Price is here, says hi 10 everyone. I'm surprised you're here because you've been so busy. I don't see how you got time to come in here and be with us today. She's been quilting up a storm, getting some charity quilts made. And Don saying that the focus is off, that it's blurry. And I don't know what to do about it. And I'm looking at my phone and it is not as clear. Something is definitely up with my iPad because it's darker as well. So I don't know what to do without going out. So I've tried looking at my screen to see what my settings were. And if and when I do that, I am going to pause the screen. So just stay where you are. I'm going to see it and check it again. Yeah. So I don't know what it is. I have absolutely no idea what's going on, and I didn't know this. It was working fine when I did the test so that I could upload the notice for us having a live chat today. But for some reason now it's not working. The only other thing that I can think is the problem, and I am in the process of uploading a video to YouTube. And I uploaded this video yesterday. It took 24 hours, and then when I woke up this morning, the video, and I'm looking at it on my back screen, but the video told me that it had uploaded, but it did not publish. So I'm thinking maybe this has something to do with the fact that I'm overutilizing YouTube right now. And right now it's telling me that it's 26% uploaded, and I've been uploading this video since 2 p.m. today. The one that I uploaded yesterday, it won't even finish processing. I had a computer crash, must have been overnight with the weather. We had some bad weather or rainy weather last night. So maybe we lost power and it kicked me out of my upload after I had been uploading for almost 24 hours. So I'm starting over again, and the next video that's coming, just so you all know, is the American Quilter Society Quilt Show in April in Paducah. So that's where we're going. That's our next video. And then I have to upload that video was 1 hour and 30 minutes. I did not realize that I had recorded that much footage. I got into every area. If you've never been to Paducah, Paducah have quilts in 4 areas. You have the main hall, and then down and around the corner, they have a room that's upstairs and a room that's downstairs. And then they also have an area that's called the Bubble. In the Bubble, they had the Prince exhibit. So that will be included in that video when it's uploaded. They also had exhibits from Judy Martin, which you will also see. And she did her Long Star quilts. And then they had an exhibit by Judith Madsen, And she has some very beautiful scrappy quilts. So it's a very interesting show, along with all the other quilts that were entered in the show. And it ended up being over an hour and a half. So it's a super long video. So when you watch that video, whenever it decides to upload on my end, then that's what you will have. Make sure you get your popcorn and your drink. Let me go back through. June says she had to leave. She will be back shortly. We got Eric Oda here. He's been MIA last week. Glad to have you back, Eric. Joyce Rockamore says howdy, howdy from Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, Joyce. Eric says 1,200 yards of binding, 1,200 inches, not 1,200 yards, 1,200 inches of binding. So I will be, I'll have 3.5 quilts. Dewana says, do you quilt other people's quilts? Yes, I do, and no, I don't. Sometimes I'll quilt for people if they ask me. I don't advertise that I quilt. So the people that I quilt for, they don't quilt that many quilts and make that many quilts in a year. So yes, I do quilt for other people, but it's not a lot. And I'm not like really advertising that, but I'll do it if somebody asks me. Matter of fact, I just got contacted through the email for somebody wanting me to quilt their quilt. My brother is here. He says, hey sis, I'm here this week. Been missing last couple weeks doing your work. I know you're busy. If you're not in here, I know you're outside, and we finally got those long daylight hours, so I can fully understand. Dewana, I already answered that one. So we've got Joan Elkin says hi T and everyone. And my brother is telling everybody happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And then Eric saying, where is Diane 57? I have no idea. She may have missed a notification tonight. Arlie says, I found king size cotton batting at Walmart for $14.99 each. Yeah, she was just asking about that. And I know sometimes, like when Joann's have a sale, you can get like the 120-inch warm and natural batting is it's 120 inches, and then it's like $20 a yard. They have it the same price as the 90-inch width, at least in my city they do. And then when they have coupons for 50, 60, or them 70% off, that's a great time to go get quilt batting as well. And Phyllis is wanting more information on the batting. I think Arlie says it's Pellon. So I don't know if that's 100% cotton or not. I haven't used Pellon batting. And Don saying it's Father's Day this Sunday. Yes, it is. And Eric wants to know what everyone is working on. I do too. Maxie Doodle says, love Judy Matson. Yeah, she has some beautiful quilts. I mean, you look at one quilt and you just keep going and going, and the quilts just get prettier and prettier. And she doesn't quilt her own quilts for the majority of them, I think. And I can't remember, but when you watch the video, you can kind of see the tags. But her long arm quilter is definitely doing an awesome job on her quilting. She says she and her husband owns Green Fairy Quilts. Yes, I found that out when I was searching her, Googling her name. And I used to like get some of her books or patterns back in the day, but I just haven't been involved in anything like that recently, so I kind of forgot about her. Diane says, sorry I'm late. She's here now. Eric was just asking, where were you? Dinah Nelson is here. She says hi. Hi, Diana. Welcome to the chat. And I've been kind of just busy, just doing all kinds of stuff. My desk right now is covered with stuff. Pens, highlighters, pencils, just everything. Between mailing stuff out and working on these quilt tops, and then I have to start writing, and then one thing needs a pen, one needs a pencil, so I need to clean it back off. Dawn says that she's trying to finish piecing quilts and get backs together. I've decided it's cheaper now to get the wider backs than try to buy yardage, since there is more is now more narrow. And that's true. Ever since they've came out with reasonably priced quilt backings, it is cheaper to buy wide backs than it is to buy yardage for backs now. Because even if you bought wide backs at $20 a yard and you get, say, 3 wide backs for a king size quilt, you're going to spend $60. If you need 3 lengths of yardage by 3 yards long, you're going to spend $9 times however much your fabric costs. So let's just say even if your fabric was easily $10 a yard for multiplication, you're going to spend $90 for the back. And you know you're spending more than 90 because fabric is not $10 a yard. So yeah, that's why when I buy like dollars or less a yard, that's why I have a lot of fabric in my stash, because when they would put quilting cottons on sale for dramatic discount, it used to be where you can get fabric for $2 and $3 a yard. So I would buy the entire boat, because then I knew I could use them as quilt backs if I so chose. So yeah, so that is a good reason to buy quilt backs. It doesn't even pay to piece a back. If you're if you're going to buy the fabric to piece the back, you may as well get a quilt backing. Arlie says that the batting is Pelon natural cotton batting, 93% natural cotton with 7% polypropylene scrim. Thank you for getting that. I'm sure she had to go find the package. Us quilters can be so technical. We got to know exactly what it is. Phyllis says, I need help with lesson plans to teach 12 to 15-year-old nieces and granddaughter going to San Antonio to visit her next week. I don't know if I would have like a, are you talking about like for quilting, Phyllis? And Eric says that he found 108-inch batting for $14.95 per yard. And I'm assuming that's at Joann's batting for quilts. But I know that they have the the bigger widths, and then I would take the scraps for if you're making smaller quilts, and then I would just piece my scraps together if it's 100% cotton, or 80-20. I can even piece 80-20, but I don't want to be bothered with piecing polyester back. I just took out to my car a 30-gallon trash bag filled with the trimmings from these 5 quilts that I've trimmed, because I don't reuse polyester bag. I don't even buy it, but I'm trying to get rid of it. Let's see, Phyllis is saying, I don't think Phyllis answered my question yet. I'm just going to assume that she's talking about she's teaching them how to quilt, not like doing some homeschooling, because I don't know anything about homeschooling. But if I was teaching somebody new how to quilt and I just wanted to make it as easy as possible, I would do something like pillowcases. Then that way they can make something with some novelty fabric that they get to pick out, and then they can actually use that every day. And then if you wanted to then go into something quilted, I would go and just have pre-cut squares. So say use some of your 5-inch charm squares you no longer like anymore, and perhaps use those. And just have them sew. I wouldn't have them do any, I wouldn't try to teach them all those steps because you're dealing with people that have a short attention span, especially if it's not something they're 100% interested in to begin with. And so I would just have them put together some rows of 5-inch squares, have them play with which ones they want in their quilt. So if you pre-cut a lot of 5-inch squares or take a lot of 5-inch squares, then they can just take them and lay them out, make their own design of, you can talk about the value of light and dark and how they can make them just do a pattern and then just sew those together. But I would keep it very basic and neutral and let them become artists with the fabric and not try to do a whole lot of teaching. And I hope that's what you were asking. If not, maybe somebody else can use this information. If anybody else got any questions, you can go ahead and drop them into the chat box as well. Phyllis is also asking, T, have you ever used green recycled batting? She says it has good prices. No, I have not used any green recycled bats, and that's because I don't really buy batting. When I buy batting by the roll. And so I have not bought batting since last year when I was at AQS in Paducah. I didn't even buy batting this time because I haven't used, no, I bought that bat. I bought a roll of batting there. It was 100% warm. No, it was, I think it was warm and natural, either 80-20. Hobbs 80-20. I think that's what it was on a roll. Hobbs 80-20 at Paducah last year. And then when I was on my way home from Houston, Texas, Debbie and I stopped at Marshall's Dry Goods and I bought a roll of batting because I didn't have to pay for shipping. So in my garage, not counting the polyester bat that I just broke down into 2 yard or so increments, I probably have about 3 or 4 rows of batting. Some of them I may have taken off some. Like I know I got a row of black 80-20 for whenever I do dark quilts. And I know I got a row of warm and natural 90-inch. I got some warm and natural 120-inch, but I've been using that. And then I've got the 2 rolls that I bought last year. So I don't buy batting that often, and I tend to only buy it when I'm getting an absolute good price, best deal, or a good deal where I feel like it's a good deal. And so I have not bought any batting, have not even been in the store looking at batting. And I know I talked about that green recycled batting because it was brought up when I did the batting live viewing, the show we did. We talked about all the different types of battings and what they mean. Somebody else brought up the green bats because I didn't even use those. But one day I will try it out whenever I think about it. I just have no need to go buy batting right now. I'm trying to get rid of batting. And Orly's, yes, she did. She said she had to run down to the basement to get the information on the batting she provided. So thank you so much for doing that. And Dawn was also saying that she bought some at Joann's with a 70% off coupon. And that's what I'm saying. Even if you got something that's $20 and you can get it for almost 25%, so that means you're paying about $5 a yard. So that's pretty good price for the batting of your choice. So, and then Eric says that he even found some at $14.99, and if you're getting 70% off that, that's a really good buy as well. I remember when I first started quilting, warm and natural bat 90 inches was $5.99 a yard. Can you believe that? And I'm sure some of you quilters who are older than I am or have been quilting longer than I have can probably have prices that are lower than that. I think my cotton fabric might have been $8 a yard when I started, if you were at a quilt shop. I remember going to Cloth World, which is now known as Joann's. Cloth World used to have a clearance section, and they would have quilting cottons, like your calico prints. They would be there for like 50 cents a yard, and I would buy the whole boat. And Eric is saying that wasn't at Joann's, that was at another fabric store near Colette Bennett. Francesca is here. She says, sorry I'm late. Hello, T and everyone. Hi, Francesca. Deborah Lovelace is here. Says, hi, everyone. Been going, she says VBS. I have no idea what that means. I don't know that abbreviation. Going on this week. I'm late, but here. Welcome to the chat. Helen Thomas is here. Says, hey, T and family. Got just want to say hello and good night. Thumbs up. See you later, Helen. Bonita Nance is here saying hi to everyone. Eric says, I go to the Fabric District in downtown LA or M&L Fabrics in Anaheim. And I think M&L Fabrics is the one that Claudette also talks about. Trisha Herrera Tello says, I'm making a quilt for my dad for Father's Day with a train panel. That's pretty cool. Don says she prefer warm and natural 80-20. I don't think Joann's is carrying it anymore. I've never used Warm and Naturals 80-20. But I have used, whenever I've used 80-20, I've just bought Hobbs. Darlene Former says, hey guys, what do you think about Sashiko Japanese quilting and broderie purse? I actually was working on some Sashiko. I think I did a video on it, but it ain't up yet. I'm just starting with it. And then I tried doing some real simple stuff on trying to repair some jeans that I like. I had got a slit in them. I cut, I don't know how something caught the back of my leg and put a slit in it. So I was trying to repair that as well. So I'm learning Sashiko. And I'm just using the pre-printed panels. I am not doing the, like drawing my own things. I'm just keeping it real simple. And the only reason that I started it is because I thought it would be great for me to take out of town when I go on vacation. And then I got addicted and got 3 of the blocks completed. So then I had to go back on, I went to actually Amazon and found a lot of patterns. Brody purse, I have not done. My friend does a lot of handwork. She does that. She's good with it. I am not good with hand embroidery just in an open space. June likes 100% warm and natural. Diane says, first see if they have any sewing machine experience. Then I like to use strip fabrics for line sewing. Strips and solids, teach 4 patches, then 9 patches. She's giving that information to Phyllis. And Bonita Nan says Ace Hardware is the best. And I think I did mention to y'all that I had bought some fabric that I had bought to sell at my quilt show. It's not quite as cheap. I didn't get it like for the price of getting it at Ace Hardware, but I think it'll be reasonably priced. I need to see if you all might be interested in some of that before I sell it to other people. So maybe I might need to pull up fabric that I took downstairs into the basement to store at some point and show it to you all. Orly says, warm and natural used to be very reasonable. Operative words used to be. Yes, it did. And it's amazing to me that when cotton went up, I think when cotton went up, warm and natural 90 was probably about $9.99 a yard. And then it went to like $12.99 or $15.99. And then it's funny how when we get out of our crisis, the prices on those things never go back down. They just continue to raise the price. And I have to say that a lot of manufacturers, they will sell quilters anything or any crafting group. So if they find out that a crafting group is using something, of course the price always goes up. And I say that for Like, you know, the little hand grips that go on your rulers. Those things you can find at the hardware store for $5 or less. And then they want us to pay for one that's purple, and they charge us over $40 for it. So it just depends on who it's targeted to as to what the price is. So yeah, us quilters, they charge us anything, but the price never goes back down. Melinda Curl says, has anyone tried the iron-on batting? I don't know anything about batting that's an iron-on. I do know that we have fusible fleece that's an iron-on, and my opinion on anything that's an iron-on is that it's going to be a little bit stiffer than your regular batting because of the fact that you're ironing it and you're melting fibers. So I would use that in something like tote bags, wall hangings, where I know I'm not going to be like under it, but I wouldn't want to be under a stiff quilt, because then it's not going to mold to the contours of your body as you're laying in bed. So just be careful with how stiff it is. Make sure you do some tests with the iron-on battings. And I think Bonita asked me that question in the comments on a video this past week. So yes, so if you're using fusible batting, just know when and where you're using it. And I definitely would not use it in a baby quilt. Let's see. We got Debbie Huey here saying hi, T. Hey, Debbie. And since you're here, I'm going to throw you under the quilting bus. When are you going to clean your studio so I can do a studio tour? I know Debbie is chairperson for our quilt show that's coming up in September. So she's also super busy, and she also runs her own business as well. She does customizations for machine embroidery, and she's also a long arm quilter. Let's see. And Bonita was saying she don't know if Ace has batting. They do have batting, but it's all polyester. Well, the one that I'm at, I don't know if she's talking about the one where I am or somewhere else. Diane says she will be in Houston this year. Don says, I remember when cloth was printed on both sides, it was hard to tell which was the right side. Now, I don't remember that. The only time I have that issue is with muslin and like batiks. Some batiks. Some of them you can tell the wrong or right side, and some of them you couldn't. And sorry guys for drinking. I'm just trying to keep something warm in my throat. I probably should have made tea instead of coffee. But I actually like coffee, and it's decaffeinated coffee. So I don't even drink caffeinated drinks. But just trying to keep something in my throat that's warm. And I think I will switch to tea when I get off and put some honey in it. Let's see. We've got Chris Huff here saying hi. Hello. Welcome to the chat. If you got any questions, anybody have any questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat box. We'll try to answer. And I'm trying to keep my screen behind me live as open so that my file can keep uploading as well. So got Cheryl Land is here. Debbie is licking out her tongue at me. And she's telling everybody that the quilt show is September 22 and 23 in Florissant, Missouri. I think Eric asked her when is the show. September 22 and 23. If anybody is in the area coming to the show, please let us know. Maybe we can schedule to meet you all if you're coming into town or passing through town. Melinda Carroll is saying thanks to Eric. I don't know why I had to read that. It was already out. Joyce Rockamore says, I used a 60% off coupon with Joann's for batting also. Francine says, hello, everyone. Coming in late. Hope all is well in Quiltingville. Yes, it is, Francine. Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. Maxie Doodle says, I just discovered Fabric Warehouse District. I bought some stunning African prints, very reasonable. Is that in New York? Diane says, I don't stick with one brand of batting. I check the feel and drape of the batting. I mostly use Woman Natural batting because it's easier for me to buy. But I haven't tried Marshall's dry goods batting yet because I'm trying to use up some of the other batting so that I don't have all of these rolls in my garage. And so I haven't used that yet. So it feels like a heavier weight Hobbs 80/20. That's what it feels like to the hand. And I can't wait to actually use it, and so I can know whether or not I want to buy any more. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a plus. Of course, when I use it, I will let you all know. If Maxie Doodle told me if that was, oh, she says it's a website, fabricwarehouseddistrict.com. Okay, thank you so much. Now I gotta go back. You would think that I'm technology challenged, you know, and I used to create access databases full time as a research analyst, and I worked in Excel all the time. But all this technology stuff is a whole nother ball game. And I was even my facilities web, I forgot what you call us. I was the website holder. I forgot what I'm called now with that. Yeah, that was part of that 5% other that they add to your job. Just because you're good with the regular computer stuff. So yeah. Diane says she used iron-on. It's not stiffer after it's washed. Deborah Willett is here, says, hello, Miss T, my first time here. Welcome, Deborah, to the chat. Appreciate you coming in and popping something into the chat box. If you got any questions or need any other assistance, please pop it into the chat box as well. And hopefully come back and join us. Sometimes I have topics, and sometimes I just do Q&A, or I just tell what I'm working on. So today I basically was just talking about the birthday challenge quilts that I'm working on, which is what you see in the background. And thinking of birthday challenge quilts, I probably will do a birthday block drive, but it will not be for charity. We'll be talking about it. But basically, it's going to, so you all, let me tell you now. So for those of you that are going to bug me and say, what is it, Miss T? So for the month of July, which is my birthday, I am not doing charity block drive this time because I still have quilts that I have to finish, and my friends still have quilts out. So let's see, I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's just say I got another 3. So 11 quilts that I'm working on. And this quilt here was pieced by Becky Galambos, but I had to quilt it. So that's included in my 11. So by the time I'm finished, I'll have 11 quilts. And then I have 5 friends that have quilts. So we'll have a total of 16 quilts that will be in that will be donated from last year's charity block. So that's pretty cool. And they all used 40. Well, this one only used 20 blocks, but the other 15 quilts used 48 blocks. So that was a lot of blocks that you all sent. So this time, instead of me doing that, what I'm going to do is, my favorite quilt block is a churn dash block. And I'm going to come back and show you some churn dash blocks. But for those of you who like to know what's going on so you can start thinking about it, it can be any size churn dash block up to, say, 12 inches. maybe even 15 inches. You could do a 15-inch block. And then inside of your churn dash, like, you don't have to do the basic simple churn dash block. You can put some other stuff in the middle, or you can do something creative, put an applique something in the middle. You can even sign your name or do something fancy on the inside. So I would really love for people to put their name and city in the block, not along the edge. I want to make sure that when I'm sewing them into a quilt top, that your name and city, state, country, or whatever will be showing. So that's kind of what I'm doing for the birthday drive this time. And then what I'm going to do is try to make one of those, a BAQ, one of those big ass quilts, and see if we can make one of those. So we'll see, and I'll have more information on that, and I'll have maybe some block ideas that people can use. But even if it's just a simple churn dash block, that will still be great as well. But as far as string and crumb blocks, not this year, because I'm still working on the batch from last year. So Don says, I think Pellon started out with the iron-on batting interface, and now it's come out with cotton batting. Arlie says, coupon tip for Joanne. Sign up for email and text notifications. You can use 50% off coupons on regular price items. The coupons will have 2 different SKUs, and you can tell from the last 3 digits. That's always been true. You can even use your email has a different SKU than your phone app. And then you can also use the written, the documentation they send you in the mail also has a different SKU. So you can always use more than one coupon. It just got to be different from different sources. And Eric is harassing Deb too. Say, when's the studio tour? Joy says, I just used the print as a quilt back for my young cousin. Judy Smith says, hi, Tan, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Just got the reminder. You're not late, Judy. Whenever you show up is when you show up. We appreciate you spending time with us. Arlie says, go download the app and use the app and text. Where you are about the batting. I don't know what Bonita is asking me. I don't know where to go with that. So ask me again, Bonita. Diane57 says, I want to see Eric's studio. Yes, indeed. Debbie says, no, you like to roll up like a burrito. Ask me how I know. She's talking to Eric. I get my Pellon batting from Walmart. That's also Maxi Doodle, so that's exactly where Arlie's got her batting. Francine says, a couple of cough drops and hot tea is very soothing. We got Rebecca Oliver here. She says, hi, TNO. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome to the chat. Eric say, let's all go to the show. Debbie Huey says, ST Eric, she don't like my studio no more. What is she talking about now? My screen went blank again. Let's see how much. 29% of this video has uploaded since 2 p.m., guys. My time. So it's going to be an all-nighter. I'd say maybe to 8 o'clock if I don't have a power outage again. Maybe. Debbie's got to clean her studio. Don't let her fool you. I had an appointment scheduled with Deborah, and she had some family stuff going on at the time, but she didn't have time to clean it. So get it clean, Deborah. I'm coming over. Debbie, I'm coming over. And I also got my friend Deborah that I'm trying to get her studio clean. But her husband has been ill, and they've been back and forth to the hospitals. And then she moved all the furniture from 3 rooms into her studio so that she could get new flooring put in. So, yeah. It's a lot going on. So my people that I'm trying to get to do studio tours, their space is not available right now. Darlene says, I'm thinking about going to Charleston for the September Paducah show. Eric says, no, he's talking to Diane, or Diane 57 is talking to Eric. The Pella and All Natural Cotton Bat was 50% off at Joann's today. I try to wait for whatever's on sale. Debbie, you know you need to quit. She's acting like she has not been on my list to do a studio tour. And one thing with studio tours is that you've got to get people that's willing to let you into their space, which people's space is a very private thing. So when somebody do let us in, you know, I try to make sure that we show them some appreciation, and a lot of you all do in the comment section, because it's very hard for me to get somebody to let me into their space, and I have to like work on them, because people love their privacy, and they know when something is going on YouTube that there's a certain amount of privacy that you lose. So sometimes I have people that don't even want their face to be shown, and then I try to make sure that I never show like the outside of people's homes, or like Kevin, he didn't care if I showed the outside of his home, but I made sure that I didn't share his address, and I definitely didn't show me driving to his place, because I like to try to give people that level of privacy, because there are some people in YouTube land that can get a little bizarre, and so people are real leery about sharing their space on YouTube. So I have to try to combat all of their fears so that I can get into their studio. So yeah, I think Debbie wants to share. She just got to clean it up. When I saw it, it was pretty clean, so I don't know what she did to it. Debbie is a collector of sewing machines, and then Debbie also has a lot of fabric, so she has to, you know, keep that in check. Joan Elkins says, Quilted Twins has fabric at very cheap prices. IT contact Eric's trying to help me with my brain. My brain loss. But yeah, I can't. Webmaster, that's what it was called. When you are in charge of the website at a facility, you are the webmaster. But that was that 5% other they put in. John says, I did try the 80/20 Hobbs, and my quilter did like it, so when I can't get warm and natural, I think I will use it again. Pamela Tabor is here. She says, hello, T and everyone. And Darlene says, I see that Hobby Lobby has stepped up their game of quilt material. I haven't been in Hobby Lobby in a while. Somebody sent me last year a Hobby Lobby coupon for batting, like a gift card. It was like $10, I think, for batting, and I went in and bought some stuff then I think I bought fabric to finish off some quilts or something. And Eric says, speaking of birthdays, it's June Hanson's month. Pamela says it's Vacation Bible School, VBS. Okay, I'm like, all I know is like internet abbreviations, and I'm like, you know, that's like being in a company and how, you know, when you're a new employee and people have everything abbreviated and you don't know what they're talking about. So I'm assuming that Joan Elkins is talking about the Quilted Twins. I'm so confused right now. I don't know if we're talking about the Quilted Twins fabric is beautiful, or if we're talking about the Quilted Warehouse fabric. T, if you need help getting those done, let me know. Well, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Eric, you want a piece one? Want me to send you blocks? Let me know in the comment section. I'll send you like a set of blocks if you want. I think I got one that's a straight strings. Yeah, I got this whole page that is a straight strings, 48 blocks. Let me go back because I moved again. Judy Smith says, T, how do you go from being in the tech industry to your quilting job? Why did you change? Seems obvious that is your love of quilting, but just confirming, and do you work more now? I started quilting in 1994. I was making clothes since 1986. So I used to make like 2 or 3 outfits a week. And then I decided in 1994 that I was going to do a free block of the month from a store called Sofro Fabrics. They're no longer in business. They were a national store as well. And I made the quilt top. And then from there, I started quilting, and I stopped sewing unless it was like a quilted jacket or something like that. So once I started quilting, that's what I really liked. That's what I wanted to do as a kid. I had a great aunt who in the country, when we used to visit Birmingham, she was making quilts, but she passed before I got old enough for her to teach me how. So it was always buried in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. I worked my job because it paid my bills. It put the roof over my head. I started that job out as a secretary when I was in college. I got my degree, and because I was a good employee, they didn't want me to leave, and they had a job opening come up as a research analyst working for the state. And so they actually put me into that position. And I decided to stay there because taking that job, even though I was making less money working for the state, I had to work only another 15 years in order to retire. So that's why I stayed with the state so that I could retire out. And I retired out as a research analyst. So therefore, when I left, I get a retirement check every month. So that way I could keep my roof over my head. And then as I was working full time, I put money aside so that I could buy the various things that I would need once I quit work, because I knew I wasn't going to be spending money on the same level. So for my business, I made sure that I had my quilt stands, my display boards, my storage shelving, my storage containers, because when you start talking about buying stuff in bulk numbers, I probably have, I'd say about 15 to 20 containers of quilts, probably more, because I have a lot of quilts that go to various different lectures. So I made sure that I had everything that I need while I was working and earning money with quilting. So any money I made off of a workshop or a lecture, I put back into my business to have all the supplies that I would need when I retired. Hence me getting the long arm. I made sure before I retired that I had saved those funds to get the long arm machine so that I wasn't going to be struggling with having to pay a note on my long arm machine once I purchased it. That's why it's no stress for me not to be quilting for other people. Now, if I had to make a $600 payment on this machine every month, then I would be really out there trying to hustle and bustle so that I could make sure that I made enough in quilting to pay for my long arm. But since I don't, I'm able to just chill out. I don't have to be stressed about how I'm going to pay for it. So that was kind of my plan. I always knew that I loved sewing and crafting. When I was younger, I just couldn't afford to do it because my father passed away. He was ill. My mom raised 8 kids by herself, and I just refused to ask her to buy me a sewing machine. But I always knew that I wanted a sewing machine. And June Hanson is saying, yes, it is her birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. That's all the singing I'll do. As they say, I can't carry a tune in a bucket. And Simply More Crafting is laughing at my BAQ. That's what I'm going to call it when we do the... Let me write that down because I'll forget. Anybody remember what the BAQ is? And so now on this one, and then on that, we'll talk about that a little bit more. That BAQ is about the is about the birthday blocks. Yeah, Jenny Dawn's birthday was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I just saw that. They were talking about that in the chat. Oh, okay. Bonita was asking me about my Ace hardware with batting. All they have is polyester bat. See, I'm just not reading some of these comments. I'm getting further down, and Debbie is talking about me being a burrito, and she's laughing at the fact that I take my own quilt when I go places, and I don't even use the sheets. Like when I'm in a hotel room, I don't even use the sheets. I just roll myself up into my quilt. So I'll put my quilt on the bed and just fold the quilt in half, and then I get in the middle of the quilt. So she's calling me a burrito. She was just mad because she forgot to bring her quilt. That's all. Phyllis says, my card trick quilt is being delivered next week to my son for his 42nd birthday. I will attempt to upload on the Facebook Tea Groups LLC page. Thank you, Phyllis. Want to see it? Don Cunningham says, what city is Angela Walters in? I can't remember right now, but it's like an hour from Missouri Star. We actually went on a road trip there, and we went to so many cities that I am like confusing them all. But on my Teaquilts retreat video, I know it's in there that we stopped there, but I can't remember what city right now. And Eric says it's in Liberty. Thanks somebody for checking. Rebecca says, in southern Maine, we have a bargain store that sells quilting fabric for $4.99 a yard and cotton batting for about $2 a yard. It's been a great resource when I learned to quilt. That's awesome. We don't have that here. Not at all. Don says, T, I enjoyed your YouTube on the Gamble Creative City Tour. Will you be teaching at any of them? No, I will not. What they did was people that had purchased machines or that had Gamble machines, because it didn't even have to be a recent purchase, but they just wanted to have people that already owned Gambles so that they didn't have to teach us how to use Gambles. And then what we were there for was to give our expertise on the training, how the training went. So they had a very detailed survey that they wanted us to fill out. So that's what's the purpose of that. It wasn't for me to go be a teacher. And I don't know. I guess I could teach long arm quilting, but you know, I'm not like super fantastic at it, but I know the mechanics of it. But I don't feel like, I think you need to be a natural artist in order to teach long arm machine quilting. Whereas I follow other designs. I can just meander in my head, but my meanders don't make sense like other people's meandering do. And Diane's talking about she loved Kevin's chickens. And Don says, my house is a mess. Nobody can see it, laughing out loud. Exactly. Arlie says, I had 23 machines, now down to 5. Wow, you really have been donating. Arlie's has been doing a whole lot of donating of fabric, sewing machines, and she's also making charity quilts. And she's, I think she said at one point she had like 18 or 19 of them to make, and then she already had like 5 or 6 of them already done. If you're not in the Facebook group, please go join that group because she has really been posting a lot of scrappy charity quilt ideas. Debbie says she has 31 machines. I'm planning on downsizing to 10. Wow. Maxie Doodle has 7. My neighbor gave me her 1980 Nietzsche that she used one time. Wow. And Joan said, yeah, she was talking about the quilted twins having good fabric at reasonable price. Okay, Eric, I'll send you some blocks. I have to make sure I got your address. I'm sure I do, but email it to me just in case I don't have your address. And I will put them in the mail. So that'll help if I can get somebody else to do a quilt. That'll be wonderful. Bye, Orleans. We've been on here a while now. It's 8:07. And Diane says, I remember Sofro Fabrics. Give a shout out to Sofro. They got me into quilting. Debbie Huey, thank you so much. She says, give T a thumbs up, y'all. Thank you so much. I'll give myself a thumbs up. How about that? I can't even put it over there. I can't do it while I'm live on my screen. I have to do it when I come out of here. Sean the Sheep says, yes, y'all. And Maxie Doodle says, pensions are a blessing. Yes, it is. You can make, and I notice that a lot of companies are not having any pensions. So I do know that I'm blessed to have it. I was underpaid for 30 years. But the pension is so worth it. Don says, yes, T, you were smart to stick with a pension. Now they get rid of people, so don't have to give pensions. They not only get rid of people, but they just took the pensions out of the company. It's no longer a requirement that they give you a pension. I'm viewing Sean's deleted message. I can't see it though. Oh God. So yeah, he was being silly. Um, I'm just trying to make sure I get through everybody's thing. And Maxie Doodle has got a question mark by Churn Dash. That's why I really didn't want to talk about it, but just Google what is a Churn Dash block, and there are all kind of variations on the Churn Dash block. So just Google it until I get more information out. And June's going to go out for lunch with a small sewing group and then go shopping with her granddaughter and sister and have fun with her new sewing machine. Yes, that's a quilter's life. T, how do you feel about selling quilts? Someone told me once not to ever sell them. I don't know why you wouldn't sell them if you're going to get paid for them. I just feel like the average person is not going to want to pay you what it's worth. But if you need to get rid of it and you want to sell it at a reduced rate, I don't see why not. If I feel like if somebody bought a quilt for some money over us giving quilts, that they'll appreciate it a little bit better because they actually paid something for it. So yeah, I guess I would sell quilts if somebody were to buy it at the price that I'm asking them to pay. So I have no problems with that. T, what do you need? What do you need a quilt for And does it need to be a churn dash? I don't need a quilt. I definitely don't need a quilt, but I think it would be an interesting showpiece to show when I do lectures and things like that. And that the blocks came from my YouTube channel. I'm always talking about the YouTube channel. I even took some of the quilts and showed them in my string and crumb lectures. I took those tops and showed them before they even got quilted. So I'm always just talking about it, and it's just more of a YouTube souvenir kind of thing. So do I need a quilt? No. And does it have to be a churn dash? Yes. And Eric says, believe it or not, I never made a churn dash. And that's because they do start out as a very simple block, I think, but then there's so much more that you can do with it. And Diane says, T, that's why we need unions to keep benefits. Yes, indeed. I agree. When we lost the machinist union, it affected my husband's job. He got laid off so many times, it's not even funny. Laughing at Eric's comment. Janet Mackerel says, late coming in chat. Me and Judy laid our mother to rest today. Oh, so sorry to hear that. Be praying for you guys. It's really hard to do. Maxie Doodle says, I was asking if your next BAQ was going to be a churn dash. Yes, it is. My brother says, you got my thumbs up already and you deserve plenty more. Thank you. So a lot of people are sending hugs to Janet and Judy. I'm just trying to get through the comment section right now. I'm almost at the bottom. Judy is here. She says, hi, Janet. Talking to her sister. She said, Mom got us a sewing machine 56 years ago when we were 10 and 12. Thanks, gang, for the condolences. Well, we just appreciate you all even just popping in during a time like this. So be praying for you guys. And you most definitely will have beautiful memories with her in your crafting as well. Don says, what about a wonky churn dash? Yes, long as it's a churn dash. Long as it's got that basic churn dash shape, and then you can do whatever else you want with it. You can put a 9 patch in the middle. You can put another quilt block in the middle. You can put 9 patches in the corner or 4 patches in the corner. It doesn't matter, long as it just reads as a churn dash block. June says, okay, I can send you a block. Bonita says, what do you like about the churn dash block over others? I don't know. Nothing really. It's just one of those that I just happen to like for some reason. And I got like a smaller churn dash that I made with a purple background and green churn dashes. And I just made them all different sizes. So I thought that would be really, and I made it like a lap size maybe. And I thought it would be pretty cool to show a churn dash quilt in a gigantic size. Darlene is gone, so we're getting people leaving. So I'm all the way down to the bottom. It is 8:15, so I'm going to go ahead and close out our chat here. Thank you all so much for coming, for putting up with this poor lighting and bad reception because I am uploading to YouTube. Let's see what percent we're at now. We're only at 31%. See, that's 2% in an hour. So I'm going to get off of here, see if this goes a little faster, hoping that it will be ready so I can release it tomorrow. That would be the AQS Quilt Show, the American Quilter Society Quilt Show, April 2019, Paducah, Kentucky. That's what I'm trying to get uploaded, and it's an hour and a half, and this is my day number 2 of trying to get it up to upload, and we had a power outage overnight. So thank you all so much for watching. I will most definitely see you all next week, and you all take care and be blessed.